Hey everybody, this is Austin, and I usually don't do this type of stuff. In fact, I created this channel to be a quiet place for investors, for long-term investors, and I truly do not believe in trading in and out of the market or anything like that, or reacting most of the time to news headlines, because I fundamentally believe that by the time we see the news headline, it's already too late to react in our portfolios, and that in most cases, I think doesn't do people any good anyways. And in fact, it destroys returns. So what I'm about to cover is basically, it goes against my style of investing for the most part, with the exception of the caveat that sometimes it's okay to make small adjustments and it could be prudent. And that's what I did with my portfolio. I have it was $480,000 going on the weekend. It's down to about 460 or 450 right now, which is up substantially from what we put in. It's up over 200% since 2011, which I'll share those returns on this channel. The point of this video is not to come out as an expert or anything like that. It's to be transparent and share the fact that because we've been investing, and the portfolio has done well and turned into more money than I really imagined our family ever having for us. It's just caused me to think about things in a little bit different way, I guess. And although I know that trading in and out is bad, I felt compelled to do that a little bit with some of my portfolio today. So that's what I'm sharing today. If you appreciate this stuff, if you like this channel, please like the video and subscribe. You can find me on Twitter at Austin Lieb. It's linked in the description of the video as well as the channel. And then I have a free or paid email newsletter. It's basically your choice. It's $5 a month if you want to pay, but 95% of the stuff is free. Austin.substack.com. And that's where each week I do a weekly wrap up and portfolio review and cover companies and stuff like that. And then YouTube is more educational stuff. And sometimes I'll cover what I share in the newsletter. So the newsletter would be how you get stuff first, basically. All right, on to today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show the email newsletter I sent out real quick. And let me move this out of the way. So this is what I sent out this morning. More coronavirus portfolio adjustments. I'm not freaking out. So if you subscribe to austin.substack.com, this is the email you would have gotten. And basically what I'm saying is I made minor adjustments. So I shorted about 2.5% of my portfolio into some, what I believe are like riskier travel companies. And with that money, I bought about 2.5% of speculative. So these are short-term, not like long-term investments, speculative companies that I think will either be driven up by fear or potentially be involved in medical treatment and trying to find a cure for this coronavirus. Again, I'm not trying to incite fear, but I know that the headlines are panicky. People are going to panic. I think this thing, I'm not a doctor. I think it's going to get cured. I think we'll get there, but I also believe that there's a lot going on. There's a lot of fear out there, and there's the potential that it gets worse. Okay. So as an investor managing my family's money, these are the decisions I've made. All right. And I'm not saying that anybody should follow me. I'm sharing this for transparency. So this is what I did on Friday. I sold Las Vegas Sands. I sold MLCO, which it's a casino company, I believe. I sold Hawaiian Airlines. And again, look at the share count. So these are not a lot of shares compared to a $450,000 portfolio. Again, it's all about perspective. So we're talking 2.5% of my portfolio. I am not putting myself at risk of not being able to cover these shorts or buy these shares back if they go up. The other thing, if you are a beginning investor, this stuff is not even necessary. If I didn't have a portfolio that had increased so much and I was just buying every month and basically starting, I would continue buying. And I truly believe, and I'm leaving most of my portfolio alone, which you'll see, I truly believe there's going to be a lot of great companies that are sold off because of this. And those are going to be unique, potentially, depending on how bad it gets, once in a lifetime or decade buying opportunity in some really good companies. So part of this decision is for me to have some cash available to go after some of my highest confident companies if they sell off for what I believe is like a short-term reason and something that will eventually get solved. And that's kind of what I think is going on. All right. Anyways, here we go. Lake, this is a company that creates, I think they sell like biohazard type suit stuff. So I bought 100 shares of that. TripAdvisor, they're struggling anyways. United Airlines, I sold shares of those. This is some type of bio or viral studies company. Bought a small amount when you look at the share price of this. Same thing with AEMD, NVAX, Royal Caribbean. This is a Chinese travel company. I shorted a few shares of that. Win, and then Nanovaricides. Okay. And so a little bit in my process, like where the heck did I even find out about these companies? Again, most of my stuff when I buy big positions, I'm talking, I have Alteryx, Datadog, CrowdStrike. I do a lot of, okay, so where did I find these companies? And you might have just seen my kids come in. So I'm taping this at like 7 a.m. I'm watching my kids. I'm not freaking out, but I wanted to share this out with everybody. And usually I put a collared shirt on or whatever to look decent on YouTube. I'm in a t-shirt today. I at least changed out of my Mickey Mouse t-shirt and woke up a little bit before doing this. Okay. So normally big positions in my portfolio, long-term positions, I do research. I know the companies. I'm very familiar with them. This is different. This was small little bets. So I read some articles. I'm no expert, but basically some companies that might tackle this virus, right? And it's like part of this is whether these companies actually tackle the virus or not, the fear or hope or pump and dump or whatever is potentially going to drive these share prices up. So I bought small pieces of these thinking, okay, this could go to 0 or I lose 50%. That's okay. But it might get driven up if there's a lot of fear. And at the same time, my primary positions, the ones I really like, Datadog, Alteryx, CrowdStrike, the Trade Desk, those might get driven down temporarily. So this is a way of like hedging, in my opinion, my portfolio a little bit temporarily for this virus, which these are just short-term speculative trades with what I'm about to cover. So I would ideally sell those in a day or two or whatever, and then use that money, those proceeds to then buy more of my core positions if they've sold off a lot or if I want to buy more anyway. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about this. Anyways, this article talks about a few companies that could be involved in curing this thing, right? So VIR Biology is investigating whether any of their monoclonal antibodies could be used for it. Inovio, which is one of the companies I bought, develops DNA vaccines. There's another one in here. I think there's one more in here. Anyways, that was the type of decisioning that I did. All right. Not great, not smart. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my actual portfolio. This is my stock portfolio and most of my family's wealth. So let's make sure that this thing actually works. Let's see. Okay, this is my portfolio. I was going to show you my actual account from the Interactive Brokers is what I use from that application on my desktop. But the technology I'm using, Loom, I think it only allows me to record in a web browser or screen share in a web browser, which is kind of weird. So I'll figure that part out. But so this looks a little shady, but these are screenshots of my portfolio. And so you'll see that this is one of those small bets. It's 0.22% of my portfolio. Okay. This is my largest holding, Alteryx. I have 798 shares of it. So if you want to figure out, here's the cost basis, $56,000. It's up 84%. So that means it's around $100,000 position. That's 22% of my portfolio. And so I'll just show you some of my core positions and then how small some of these bets are. CrowdStrike is a core position, 9% of my portfolio. That's not changing. I'm not selling that company or Alteryx because of this. No way. The opportunity is too good in those companies in my opinion. Delta Airlines, shorted that. It's up 2.6%. This is how much these are up. Datadog, again, one of my largest positions. It's up 21%. It's 14% of my portfolio. Fastly is 5% of my portfolio, but then there's this, which makes it about another 2.5%. So it's about a 7.5% position. It's up a lot. Okay, Fastly, another pretty large position, long-term position in my portfolio. Hyatt and Hawaiian Airlines, I shorted both of those. Again, 0.27%, 0.3%. These are both down a little bit. Okay, so I think this is Inovio and Lake, 0.6% and 0.35%. And Inovio is up 27% since I opened it Friday. Lake is up 15%. Las Vegas Sands, I shorted it. The Marriott, I shorted it. They're up 5.2% and 1.7% since Friday. Mongo Database, another pretty decent sized position, is 5% of my portfolio. That's a long-term position, okay? Not part of these short-term trades. MLCO, I think that's that casino that's related to either China or it's in China. I don't even know. Looked at these things and I wanted some casinos that had exposure to China because I thought they were going to sell off. It's up 8.1%. And then Nano Veriseeds, it's not showing how much is up. It's up about 50%. I have 600 shares of that. So that was the largest one I did. It was almost a $5,000 purchase, and it's up about 50%. NVAX, it was a $3,000 purchase. It's up 21%, another short-term one. And then a couple more, ONCY, small bet, not doing much. Royal Caribbean, figured cruises might take a hit, down 2.7%, or it's a 2.7% gainer. And again, a small position I shorted Royal Caribbean. And then just finishing it up, TCOM is I think it's like a travel company in China, up at 9.2%, very small short position. TripAdvisor, very small short position, it's up. United, small short position, it's up. VIR, I think was another one related. It's down a little bit. And then Win is up, I've got an unrealized gain of 6.5%. It's a small short position. So that's what I did. If you're enjoying this, if this is helpful, like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to put out way more educational content versus like trading, because I don't think that's good to do generally. What I do want to share is if you want to find out information about this, the virus or anything like that, a couple like good resources. And let's see if this... Oh, here we go. We're back. A couple good resources, right? Like there's so much fear out there and headlines and all that stuff. The CDC, Center for Disease Control, you could follow them on Twitter. They have updates on their website. This is their most recent update. 3 new cases. This was 9 hours ago. 3 new cases. So it's 5 in the US. It is spreading a little bit, and that's what I think is going to drive a lot of this fear. The World Health Organization is another follow. They've got a website. You can follow them on Twitter. So they're working with networks of specialists to analyze the full genome sequences as they become available. One thing I wonder, and I have long-term positions in these, is if some of these genome sequencing companies like CRISPR, Invitae, ticker is NVTA, which I have a position. If those are gonna, if this is gonna be like a catalyst for those types of companies, I don't know. That's not why I'm invested in them, but I think it's possible. And then like some things like we shouldn't react to, right? This whole website, cnbc.com, for the most part, just look at the fear driving headlines on this website. And again, it's like by the time you see these headlines, it's just me thinking it's too late. So like, and what I'm doing, I could end up losing money from all of this. And so I only put into these gamble trades what I'm willing to absolutely lose. So again, for most investors, this is probably pointless. It's probably going to destroy returns for me. I'm documenting it because that's what I started this YouTube thing for, and to educate others. But I do not react in general to headlines I see on CNBC or anything, even headlines in the news, because by the time it's a headline, it's too late for you to react.